Every October 31st, people put on their best scary dressed costumes and put the carved pumpkin outside their front doors. The supermarkets get lined with sweets, ready for trick or treat, and special effects makeup comes out in full swing. Although this month is associated with the spooky season, many of us don't know where the day came from and why we celebrate. The origin of Halloween can be traced right back to the ancient Celtic festival known as Samhain, which used to be held on November 1. Samhain was a day when the summer harvest would end and would mark the beginning of winter. The festive day would start the night before October 31. On this evening, it was believed that the line between the living and dead was blurred and souls would return to their old homes. People would then dress up in costumes and light bonfires to scare off the unwanted spirits from entering their house. It then became popular for witches, ghosts, and goblins becoming linked with the holiday. By the 9th century, as the influence of Christianity had spread into Celtic lands, the church then made November 1 All Souls' Day, which was a day to honor the dead. It was still celebrated similarly to Samhain, with people dressing up and lighting bonfires the night before. The night began to be called All Hallows' Eve before eventually what we know it as now, Halloween. Every year people carve scary or funny faces into pumpkins which also go by the name Jack-o'-lanterns. It comes from the Irish myth of Stingy Jack, a mischievous man who used to trick the devil. Jack had tricked the devil multiple times, and the only way he was able to get free was if he promised Jack what he wanted. The devil first promised Jack that when he died, he wouldn't claim his soul in hell, and he wouldn't bother him for 10 years. However, when Jack eventually died, God wouldn't allow him to enter heaven after the tricks he played. Staying true to his promise, the devil also didn't allow Jack into hell. Instead, he sent Jack off the dark night with nothing but a burning piece of coal to light his way. It's told that Jack then put the burning coal into a carved out turnip and has been wandering the earth ever since. In Irish folklore, Jack started to be referred to as Jack of the Lantern, and people celebrating Samhain would carve scary faces into potatoes and turnips to frighten him away. It wasn't until people started to move to America that they brought this tradition with them and carved faces from pumpkins instead, which is now more commonly used. Still dating back to the Samhain festives, it is believed that poor people would go to the houses of wealthier families that night. The rich families would give them a pastry called a soul cake in return for them to pray for the souls of their dead relatives. This was known as souling. It later became tradition for children to knock on houses and get food, money, and even ale in return. Years later in Scotland and Ireland, the tradition was then called guising, and children would wear costumes going to people's houses for offering. Instead of offering to pray for the dead, they would sing a song, tell a joke, read a poem, or perform a trick before being given their treat.